Good evening. Welcome back to At the School of Rock with the continuing our short series, I Can Fix It, Historical Application. I would like to take a few moments to say if you've liked the series and have been enjoying what we've been bringing at the School of Rock, if you could take a moment and hit the like button, and if you want to, leave a comment. We get a lot of suggestions in the live program, but we don't get many comments afterward in the videos. So if you, not your live ones, if you're watching the video and you want to leave comments and you don't make our live sessions, you can go ahead and leave the comments on the videos. We do read the none that we get so far. So not sure if anybody outside this broadcast, yeah, we know y'all are listening. All right, without further ado, welcome back. I Can Fix It, Historical Application, Episode Part 1. Measuring the Record. In the opening episode of this series, we established a clear factual baseline. We related the 5 standards in the specific context of the intelligence claims. We laid out the documented 2016 origin point, the opening of Crossfire Hurricane, the role and funding of the Steele dossier, the use of that material in FISA applications, the briefings that occurred during the final months of the Obama administration, and the January 2017 Intelligence Community Assessment. We summarized the principal findings of the 2019 Horowitz Inspector General Report and the 2023 Durham Report. Today, we begin the measurement. This is Part 1. We will apply the first 3 standards fully and carefully: the evidentiary standard, the household test, and transparency as a structure. Part 2 will complete the work with accountability without permission and new ground. We move at the same deliberate pace. No shortcuts, no assumed knowledge. Every listener should be able to follow every step. Standard 1, the evidentiary standard. The evidentiary standard is simple and non-negotiable. A major claim must be tested against the actual strength of the evidence. The confidence with which a claim is delivered, the institutional authority behind it, or the volume its repetition does not replace corroboration. We applied that standard first to the Steele dossier and its use inside the investigative process. Official records established that the Steele reports were opposition research funded in part by the Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee through the firm Fusion GPS. The reports contained a series of allegations that had not been corroborated when they were provided to the FBI. The FBI incorporated material from those reports into applications submitted to the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court for authority to surveil Carter Page. The 2019 Inspector General Report by Michael Horowitz examined those applications in detail. It documented 17 significant errors and omissions. Among the central findings, the FBI did not adequately corroborate the Steele reporting before relying on it in the FISA applications. The applications did not fully disclose to the court the applications did not fully disclose to the court the political origins of the material. Information already known to the FBI that raised questions about the reliability of the Steele reporting was not properly presented to the court. The 2023 Durham Report examined the same body of material and the decision to open and pursue the investigation. It found that the FBI lacked sufficient analytical rigor and predication that confirmation bias was present in the handling of the information, and that uncorroborated reporting was given greater weight than the evidence justified. Under the evidentiary standard, the measurement is direct. Material that remained unverified was treated in the formal investigative and surveillance process with a level of reliance that later official reviews found unsupported by the actual state of the evidence at the time. That is the result when the evidentiary standard is applied to the documented record. Standard 2, the household test. The household test takes what a set of claims and processes actually cost ordinary citizens. In this case, the most immediate costs were not measured in higher grocery prices or energy bills. They registered as a sustained erosion of public trust in the fairness and competence of core institutions. When official reviews later document significant errors in the verification of evidence and in disclosures to a court, the cost is paid in reduced public confidence. Citizens are left less certain that investigative and surveillance authorities are applied with consistent rigor regardless of the political context. That loss of trust is a real and measurable cost. It affects the willingness of people to accept future intelligent claims, future investigations, and future assertions of institutional authority. It also raises the long-term cost of governing because institutions that have lost credibility must work harder to earn cooperation and belief. The household test requires that this cost be counted. It is not secondary. Excuse me. FBI burns me up. Yes, sir, Director Kash Patel. Includes you. Burns me up. It is not secondary. It is one of the primary outcomes of the process under examination. Standard 3, transparency as structure. Transparency and structure requires that the information needed to test a claim be available while the claim can still be examined and while decisions can still be influenced. In the FISA process, the court depends entirely on the completeness and accuracy of what is presented to it. The Horowitz report found that significant information, the political origins of the steel material and known reliability problems, was not fully disclosed in the applications. The complete picture of those limitations became available to the public primarily through the Inspector General report in 2019 and in the Durham report in 2023, years after the surveillance had been authorized and after major political and institutional consequences had already occurred. When the most important limitations on the evidence surface only after the fact, transparency has functioned as delayed disclosure rather than as structural requirement operating in real time. That is the measurement under Standard 3. Section 5, synthesis of the first 3 standards and forward look. We have now applied the first 3 standards to the documented record. The evidentiary standard shows that uncorroborated material was given greater weight than the official reviews later found justified. The household test shows a measurable cost paid in public trust. Not heavy enough. Transparency as structure shows that critical limitations were not fully available at the time the most consequential decisions were made. These are not opinions. These are the results of placing the official findings against fixed standards. 2 standards remain: accountability without permission and new ground. Those 2 go to the heart of whether systems correct themselves or simply continue under the same incentives, as they have been. That is the work of Part 2. Until then, hold these questions dear. When intelligence material is used to support surveillance or major public claims, What specific level of corroboration should be required before it is treated as reliable? How should the cost to public trust be weighed when official reviews later document significant process errors? What is the practical difference between transparency that arrives in time to affect decisions and transparency that arrives years afterward through official reviews? I wonder. Why does the measuring the record against fixed standards protect the examination from being simply another competing narrative? Yeah. And when you ask that question, explain that one to several of your buddies. Maybe grab some government officials. The first three standards have been applied. The factual baseline remains unchanged. The measurement continues in part 2. That is the work of this episode. That is how the method stays consistent. Again, thank you for joining us at the School of Grog. I hope you've enjoyed part 1 of historical application. We hope to see you in part 2. Until then, good night and God bless. And I always forget, I got to find that button before I close. I got it. And again, if you don't mind and you're enjoying these, that like button, leaving comments. I know we get to hear our live crowd, but love you. Mean it.